Let's get nuts.
Hi John.
How's it going now?
Take it away. So
Episode 4. Kind of fresh off there, I was watching a documentary today. A Dr Steven Greer. Have you ever heard of him?
I watched, you sent me on that link and I watched about 30 or 40 minutes of it.
Which link was that again now?
It was on a podcast. It was a podcast. I
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah, he's been on a good few podcasts. The one that I watched him on today is over the last week I listened to him on a podcast on the PBD, I think it's called.
Yeah, that's the one you sent on to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The PBD podcast. It's very interesting. I think that was the second time he was on that podcast. I've seen him before in clips on YouTube and stuff. I did a bit of research and then was it like last year, and I said, oh, why? So he's just to let people know he's mad into aliens, right? So his whole thing is he was a doctor, PhD, full blown doctor. He was on like a big job. He was on like 6 figures yearly. He kind of semi-retired then and started
A medical doctor.
A medical doctor.
Right.
Yeah. He was on some board, some well recognized board over in America. I can't remember exactly now, but he started to pursue into aliens and UFOs and kind of that kind of jazz. And then the more he got involved, he made contacts with different people that were involved and ex-military and stuff. And then he found out that there's a lot of black project stuff that's kind of like under wraps over in America. So then he retired from being a doctor, and he launched this project back in the 90s called the Disclosure Project. So basically he wanted any whistleblower that came out about UFO technology and reverse engineer technology from UAPs they're called now, unidentified aerial phenomenon, but crash craft, and he wanted to protect people that came out and whistleblowed about it, and just wanted to get all the evidence together and just try to disclose it out to the public. That's basically his story in a nutshell. But then I gave a bit of look into it, and we were on about Joe Rogan there before, and I was thinking, why isn't this fucker on Joe Rogan? Like, because Joe Rogan's mad about aliens. So I did a bit of a Google search there last year, and I found that Rogan, when he went to Spotify, a lot of his episodes, he had to, I think, choose episodes to scrap.
Oh, right.
Or some of them didn't make the cut on Spotify, and you can't find them on YouTube either. Easily.
And he had to scrap them.
I can't really remember. Or did Spotify kind of like try to filter them ones out or something like that? Yeah. But I eventually came across it on Reddit anyway, that he actually did one back in like 2018 with Steven Greer. Yeah. Now I've been trying to see. So then the people were saying on Reddit, that Rogan has never came on and said any opinion about Steven Greer. He was never questioned in public, and there was no footage of him. Like, I was trying to look up like what does Rogan think of Steven Greer after him hearing his story, and I can't find nothing. Now I've heard Rogan saying before that he has had a couple of people on his podcast talking about the UFO and being abducted and all that shit, saying that he just doesn't entertain him anymore, so he just wants nothing to do with him. So I'm thinking maybe he thought that this guy was full of shit. But I think so, yeah. But I can't find any opinion from him on him, right? And basically at the end of that podcast, Steven Greer was making a movie, basically a documentary of the Disclosure Project. He has a good few of these films out. If you just research Steven Greer movies, documentaries, you'll find them. And he was inviting Rogan to a premiere, and then Rogan was all up for us. Yeah, totally, I'll be there. And this seemed all grand at the end of it. So that was like 2018, I think, 2018 maybe.
Okay.
Maybe earlier. But yeah, since then he's never been on. But he's been on numerous of other podcasts, like that one I'm saying there, PBD, and he's out in the public. I thought, okay, this guy is fucking maybe just one of these lads full of shit. So then he came across my radar again there recently enough, and he was actually, I seen a clip of him like talking about being in contact with Congress people. So I think there's a bit of merit into what he's into.
I vaguely remember something about him and Congress from a few years ago, where there was going to be this big reveal.
That was this disclosure project that he's on about, but he's pushing this since the 90s.
Right. Yeah.
So I listened to the podcast over the last week, as I was saying, PBD.
What do you think of him?
What he was kind of more so going into was the reverse engineer technology that's kept under wraps by companies like Raytheon. These are massive weapons manufacturing companies. Lockheed Martin. Mentioned some other ones. But he has sources, so he says, that prove that this shit, that these black projects are going on with him. He says that 99% of the stuff that is seen now, the last 20-30 years, UFO kind of scene is man-made, basically.
Right, yeah.
Then he started going into the podcast about people that he was in contact for the last 30-40 years. He's involved in this kind of scene now for the last 33 years, I think he was saying. Man's like 73. He's pushing on.
Yeah.
Or is he... find that out, what age he is. But, yeah, so he was talking about people that came up with ideas to rival, basically...
oil.
Cars or engines that use diesel, petrol, petroleum, all that crack, right? And lad, I watched the documentary there today. I'll tell you the name of it there in a second. I'm halfway through it. Fucking hell. I thought it was just going to be all aliens usual shit. But he started talking about all these inventors and started giving real examples. And man, the amount of them that have been whacked.
Yeah.
Started off with Nicola Tesla. He was knocked down by a taxi back in the 1930s. He didn't die from that, but not long after that he died. He was like 80 something. Only a few years after that he died, but in hospital. There's an actual document that he showed in the film of the FBI, I think it was, literally in black and white paper, and it was them top secret and that kind of crack, saying that they were looking for any documents that were belonging to Tesla, and they were taking them, basically, right? So you've heard that rumor before that Tesla, that there's
all this stuff was taken.
Yeah. So then he started to talk about the 0 point energy. So that's his kind of whole thing, 0 point energy. So basically, a small little piece of air in front of you, right? That subatomic particles within that little space could fucking power the whole world if it's targeted and harnessed correctly.
Shit like this, yeah.
Yeah. So he went through numerous examples of inventors. There was one guy that used water for a car engine. He
Stanley Meyer.
Yeah,
man,
yes.
I remember hearing about that. I was sick in my stomach the first time I heard about that.
Yes.
That was 1998. And you see him fucking interviewed on a television, Florida a news station.
Stan Meyer.
And he's saying this thing runs on water, and guys went and checked it out, and I remember even like the news was so honest about it, like, you know, they weren't trying to put it down or anything. And they made a joke about how filling it up now will mean a completely different thing, and they were believers in it, you know. And then he ended up dying, and I think his last words were he ran out of a restaurant and saying they poisoned me. He was offered a fuck ton. Was it $200 million by some Saudis to sell them the technology?
Yeah.
And his brother came out, I think it was about 10 years or more after it. He was too afraid to talk about it, but he said that like within hours of his death, he said the men in fucking black showed up to the house and they took everything. They just took all his computers and all his fucking equipment. Had he like a team with him as well? There was like 13. I don't think so.
Maybe it was
Not
a different. So Stephen Greer 69, still fairly pushing on, but he's So he starts talking about Meyer. Then there was another guy who the same crack, these perpetual engines, or like some of them like that would. So basically, in engineering and science, it's basically impossible by today's technology that the amount of energy you put in gives greater energy. So most of these inventors, he was like basically showing it all, like how many milliwatts, and like it could be fucking exponential, like 1,000 fucking watts you get as an output, from these engines. And there were some examples there of inventions that some of these lads made, and like a small little box, maybe like a matchbox. Yeah. And there was a guy recording it, and he was lighting 6 light bulbs. This other guy.
Yeah.
And he was literally recording it, and he was like, okay, this is basically like his eureka moment. And you could tell by the guy that was recording it, the inventor, he was thinking, he was just buzzed, like, and he's like, okay, I'm after changing the world. It says, documented it here now, said the 10th to the 3rd, 1988, for example, every year. This is the first day of whatever he called it. And that example of this lad, his wife noticed one evening that there was 2 strange guys in black suits coming some 5 p.m. some evening, and the husband was at home. She was just coming home from shopping or something. She went in anyway, and them two guys in the suits were coming out against her. Said nothing to her, just walked on. She went into the husband. Husband looked a bit shook. She said, who are they? Oh, nothing. Were they here about your invention? And he was like, yeah, they're just they're investors just looking to invest. The guy was found dead. He collapsed off his chair. He was like sitting down watching TV or something. Collapsed off his chair. A couple hours later, the wife found him dead. Just rake of shit like that.
Yeah.
There's another guy then, that's an inventor again, and he had like a team of 13 or 14 people with him. Stephen Greer found out about him, approached him. He said, look, you've got to give me your invention here. We're going to put this open source. And he tried this with numerous of these examples of the guys that came up with these inventions. And most of them had this thing of, it's my fucking invention. I want to monetize it. I want to make money off it, which is fair enough. It's a human nature thing. And he said, look, you're going to get whacked. You're either going to be offered massive amounts of money, you're going to be threatened, or all of the above kind of a thing. And they're saying, oh, look, I'll just keep it secret and all this. And eventually something happened to them. Heart attacks. They died. And all this crap, right? And then there was one guy, with the 13 or 14 on his team. And he said to Stephen Greer, look, I think some of my team members there found a safe country we can move to. And Stephen Greer told him, it doesn't matter where you go. You'll have to move to a different fucking planet. You're going to be found. Go open source. Just put it out there. Any engineers and scientists in, they'll all have it, the design out there. It won't be lost.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going to carry it to the grave with you. Yeah. That's what he told a lot of these guys, and that he approached. And what happened with these guys was, he said, no, keep it secret. Not long after that, 13 of the 14 were killed, and one remained. And Stephen Greer approached that person that remained from that team, and he was saying that that fella was like inside his kitchen and he was bawling crying. That's all he said about it then.
Fuck.
But
did you see this? The Y-Files did an episode about this a couple of months ago. You didn't see that, no?
I didn't see that one, no.
He talked a lot about this, and he made that point as well about the patents. He said the mistake that everyone made was the patents. That they all wanted to, like you say, they thought this, I'm going to get rich off this.
Yes.
But that's what what's his name, AJ's advice was.
Yeah.
For all the inventors out there, if you figure something out, don't try and patent it, just fucking put it out there, because that's the only
going to be taken to the grave.
And I get it, like, I'm sure they think, no, fuck, like, I want my name on this or something for the next 1,000 years.
But like that's obviously not what happens. Like, it's too...
You think you're going to be the next Tesla?
Yeah.
My name is going to be the next
I
Tesla.
seen another clip of this lad over in Africa. It was actually on YouTube, I think going back 10 years. He made this electricity unit, and it could power the whole village. I think just by water or something like that. And there was nothing more heard of it then after. I think he died of like a heart attack or something. I think he died of a heart attack.
Yeah.
But like, it's fucking crazy. Like, they're obviously, sure, the oil industry is just so fucking massive. It's trillions and trillions and trillions that they're making yearly. Like,
if that stops overnight.
Exactly. Like, so his whole thing is, 99% of the UFOs now are reverse engineered technology.
And they're not running on fucking diesel.
No. So that's kind of the 0 point energy kind of a thing. He was getting into then. So like a lot of these technologies that are being developed, they compare to nature, okay? So like a tornado, the helix of a DNA, right? A universe, if you've ever seen the James Webb telescope, you know the way they take that, they took a photo of the universe and you can see like the spirals of smaller universes of star systems.
Yeah.
So energy seems to take a form, well, absolute energy in spiral kind of shape, kind of thing like that.
Okay.
So there's this guy, Randall Carlson. Have you heard of him?
Yeah, the name rings a bell.
He's a geologist. He'd be affiliated there with Graham Hancock. I suppose that's another topic for another podcast. Basically, they believe that, and there's scientific proof there, that there's a younger joyous impact back thousands of years ago, and that it wiped out an advanced civilization. Not quite, maybe an advanced.
This is the one in the 14,000 years ago.
Yes, yeah. Not as quite as advanced as us, but advanced in their own way. And there's a series on Netflix, Ancient Apocalypse, and it goes through all these monuments like Göbekli Tepe in Turkey. You have Derinkuyu, which is an underground kind of like city where there's been bits of like hay and like cow and donkey dung that's been found in these tunnels. Like, and then you question why were people down there? They said like you could have held like 10,000 people. There's things like the Serpent Mound, I think that's in America, that was pointing to some kind of star alignment, and they're like, okay, how do these people have this knowledge?
Yeah, but then like, I thought the civilization, I thought that the theory behind the civilization that was destroyed 14,000 years ago was more advanced than us. Well, did I get that wrong?
So your man was in a debate there recently on Joe Rogan, Graham Hancock. So he's with this lad, can't remember his first name, but Dibble, I think was his surname. Just to look at him, he just looked like a fella that was living in his mother's basement and just reading fucking about archaeology, just, I don't know, just like a Poindexter kind of thing. Yeah. But he was kind of cartoony Poindexter kind of thing. He was funny, but he's well versed obviously in what he's doing. He's an archaeologist, but they were debating. But then, like, Graham Hancock was kind of defending himself. I never said that they were more advanced than us. I just said that they were more advanced than what mainstream archaeology says. Right. So he kind of
backtracked a little bit.
He kind of changed his. But then, like, they're on about the pyramids, that you can find the stone cuts, like, and the angles, and it's like there has to be some advanced civilization. That's what they're kind of linking it to. But anyway, this Graham Carlson guy, this geologist, he's been working with engineers the last few years. He's been working on this, I think it's to do with an engine. It's called a thunderstorm generator. So basically, I was talking about this vortex shape, kind of like form of energy. So basically, you're using a small and minute amount of fuel, and you're putting it into a chamber, injecting it at a certain angle. And funnily enough, he said that angle is the same angle as the apex of the pyramid to the base, whatever that angle is.
Okay.
So that's what they've been using. It was just by chance that just worked most effectively, and then they found out that comparison after. Exactly. So he rightly doesn't understand it himself, okay, so he's trying to explain it. You fire in basically the fuel at a certain angle, at a certain speed. Then as that's rotated around the chamber, causes intense heat, and then it's perpetually kind of like reacting with each other.
Okay.
And constant reactions then fires that engine and keeps it perpetually going.
Yeah.
So they have it developed. And they're working on it in some like island that's away from these government policies, where they think it's safe. And he's been on a podcast there a couple of months ago, and he was just talking more about it. He said it's going to be a matter of time. They're going to make it open source when they have it everything. So every engineer around the world can try to improve it, or they can try and retrofit it into. It's supposed to be easy enough retrofitted into existing engines as well. So that's going to be interesting if there's some.
Yeah.
But that's been happening down through the decades. Like these guys that's come out inventing stuff, and they've just the patents are gone, or they're just something happens to them.
Yeah.
So it's going to be very interesting if they get this open source, and if anything happens. He also.
I wouldn't be talking to fucking anybody about it though, would you?
Yeah,
no, I would. Fucking podcast.
Fucking hell.
This is what I'm gonna do.
But the only thing is, he doesn't rightly know himself. Okay, and he's just kind of working with him. He hasn't, but like he could be captured and tortured.
Yeah.
Do you know? And fucking said, "Who the fuck are you working with?"
Mm-hmm.
Do you know? But as well, the interesting thing, he was saying there's two massive car manufacturers that have got in contact with them, and they want to take it on. That's we'll just have to see.
Yeah.
But the thunderstorm generator is the name of it. The name of it.
Interesting though.
Dr Steven Greer documentary. I'll have to tell people what the name of it is. So he has a couple. There's like Unacknowledged from 2017. That's a good one.
But Greer himself, I heard him saying that podcast you sent on to me that his life had been threatened before as well.
Yes, he was,
and that he had a couple of contacts that were he claims were killed as well.
Yeah.
He said a CIA guy and a Navy intelligence officer.
Someone was poisoned.
And his assistant, he said.
Yes.
His assistant died from some sort of a chemical weapons attack.
That's right.
Which is fucking crazy. But why isn't he dead?
That's what I was wondering as well, right? Your man from PBD asked him, and he said, I have it openly said in a lot of my documentaries. By the way, the name of that documentary is The Last Century and How to Reclaim It. It was just released there 2023. There's a couple other documentaries, Contact, the CE5 experience.
Where are you watching these? Are you watching them on Movies?
I'm just streaming them. Yeah. You can find them on his site as well. The Cosmic Hoax, Unacknowledged, and then he's this other one called Sirius. But check them out; they're actually good. I watched Unacknowledged, and Sirius. They're very good. As I said, I'm halfway through Last Century. But yeah, so back in that PBD documentary, your man had asked him, "Have you ever been threatened?" Or so he said, "Yeah, I was threatened, as you said there, a few times." He said, "And how come you're not dead?" And he said, "Well," he says, I have an archive that we've set up at the minute. It's live on their website, Steven Greer's website, that has it's backing up a lot of his claims.
Right.
A lot of these top secret projects and stuff. He has a lot of these papers. Apparently, I didn't check it out yet on this archive, and they plan to release more. But as his secret weapon, if he ever goes, or if he's instructed people to release the more serious shit that he has, and that is going to have a profound effect globally.
Why doesn't he just do it now?
But he just says, apparently that's his secret weapon if he ever croaks, you know. No, he could be, I don't know if he's bluffing or not.
Yeah. But
if you just look into him, watch his documentaries, listen to him, he's a very intelligent guy. If he's making it all up, by fuck lad, he's the best bullshitter I've ever heard.
Yeah, I'll have to watch some of the stuff. But
The Last Century.
Didn't he say he was hanging out with the director of the CIA at one point?
Yeah, I think that guy was the director for 2 years.
Was he the director at the time he was hanging out with him?
Don't know.
I just feel like if for example you were on a podcast and you were saying, yeah, I was hanging out with the fucking head of the mafia and he was telling me all this mad shit they're up to, you'd be thinking it wouldn't be long before
like then he was saying as well, like, so you'll be thinking if he's a disc for information, if he's just used for that, but he was saying like that a lot of the shit that you see out there, like he said, a lot of other people, obviously not him, are by his words, are fucking disinformation artists. Well, not people that like actors, but people that have just been fed the wrong information, mad information. And that's what they want to know. They want you to be distracted. He has this thing called the CE5, Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind. So this is where he kind of gets fucking very fringe, okay? So he has this app. No, or just Google it. I looked it up there on the place or on the Apple Store. Well, let's go into the Apple Store, isn't it? App Store. It's like you have to pay for it, but I looked up the reviews for it. The reviews aren't great.
Right.
Apparently it gives you these protocols where you sit outside your house or wherever you want to be. The sky has to be clear, and you, with your consciousness, you reach out for contact with interdimensional beings.
Yeah.
And then you can use like lasers and stuff up in the sky, and then if you try really hard, they're gonna come. They're gonna appear, okay? So one of the documentaries,
the reviews are not saying they've been meeting aliens. Fuck, man.
CE5, yeah, I'll just read out some of the reviews. So CE5 Contact, it's $9.99 there in the App Store. So let's go into some reviews. 2 stars.
2 stars.
App's really slow. Messages take hours to send. Most of the information on it is available elsewhere for free. Not worth the cost. Regret the purchase. Okay, this one great app, 4 stars, 3 years ago. I've been doing CE5 for a long time now. It's seen lots of lights flashing in the sky, they meant, when doing it. Light ships, orbs, and many other weird things. UFOs are real, and this app helps bring it out into the open. Most critical. Okay, I can just find 2 fucking reviews there. So that's not good. That's on the App Store now. There might be something else on the Google Play Store. I was watching that documentary and it's very fucking like gives me guru vibes. I watched a bit of it. That's the E5 one. Close Encounter of the Fifth Kind. So he carries out like once or twice a year, maybe more, like groups of people out into different deserts worldwide, out into clear skies, and they all sit around the circle, kumbaya kind of crack. They'll be out there for a couple of hours, and he has footage up on his website about these encounters, and he has some pictures as well. And there's a pictures of this once, maybe a couple of times, but there's a few pictures of like these fucking like shadowy kind of colourful beings kind of a thing, humanoid kind of a thing. Think of Mr. Burns from The Simpsons when he's standing inside the forest.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but none of the features, just kind of shape. And one of these guys had a pacemaker, I think it was. It was inside the documentary, and the picture was there of this being standing behind him and kind of like touching his heart. And then he says, I felt a presence, but I didn't see anything. And it's only in the photo, when it came through, we could see it in the photo. And any of his heart problems disappeared after a couple of weeks. That kind of jazz.
Right.
And then there was other like things like that, like where people felt that they were talking through their conscious to the beings, and beings would tell them, it's okay, everything's gonna be okay. So it's kind of like this meditation kind of thing, ritual thing. And everything's gonna be okay, and we're all one kind of singularity in the universe, and there's no individuals, we're all just one. And there was like one of them that was suffering from like cancer, some lady, and apparently her cancer retracted a bit, like, and I don't know.
It's very David Icke, we're all one.
Yeah.
We're all one consciousness experience.
There is cool photos though, and they have like these orbs that are like up in the sky, and they're not visible. They weren't visible to people's eyes. Like people were saying, we didn't see that, but yet it came through in the photo. What do you think of that kind of stuff?
I kind of find it hard to believe. I want to believe.
Yeah.
But even that mantra that like the same as David Icke, and I heard fucking Joe Rogan saying it the other day, that we're all one consciousness experiencing itself through individuals or whatever.
Yeah.
And that we die, we all go back to the same thing. It was a Bill Hicks thing as well.
Right. Who's Bill Hicks again? The name rings a bell.
The comedian.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Famous for Revelations. Most famous, I suppose, for Revelations. Revelations was one of his fucking shows or whatever.
Okay, right. Didn't hear that one now.
It's good. It's good. Yeah. Except for like in the middle of it, you're kind of wondering, is he telling everyone that he's a paedophile? It's weird because the whole show is really good, but right in the middle of it, he starts making jokes about fucking 12-year-old girls and stuff.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. He starts calling himself Goat Boy, I think, or something in the middle of it. And
what?
He got a bit fucking, it gets really fucking weird for about 2 minutes in the middle of it. You just like, what the fuck? A bit uncomfortable.
Okay.
And then he carries on, the rest of it's quite good, but it's all very, I don't know. I'd have to watch it again. I've watched it a couple of times over the years, but
David Icke is bringing out a documentary there. I think it's like out tomorrow, I think. Tackling on the spirituality, and he has all these different guests on. I just seen up on his Instagram page. Yeah, he's kind of gone that side now, isn't he?
Yeah.
Look, yeah, but just think of simple things. Like this always comes to my head. Do you ever like experience if you're driving, and like lots of people experience this, like if there's someone walking or something, right, or someone you think, or if you're like in traffic, stuck at a junction and you kind of feel someone's kind of looking at you, and then you kind of look and they're fucking looking at you. Do you ever come across experiences like that? Or even, you don't even have to be in a car, but if you're just everyday life.
Yeah. No, I can't say that I really do, like.
Or another one, you might be thinking of someone who might come across your head, and then a minute or two later they'll give you a ring or you get a text off them.
Yes.
Yeah.
I actually had a mad one there one day, years ago, myself and my wife, we were chatting about a cousin of mine. And then after the conversation I said, do you ever wonder what we're talking about now? I said, do you ever wonder if you're randomly thinking about somebody and then are they thinking about you wherever they might be in the world at the exact same time, do you know?
Yeah.
She was kind of laughing, going, well, you'd have to ring them up and go, any chance you were just thinking about me right now? And I'm not joking. 30 seconds later, my cousin texts me and she said she was working in a pregnancy shop at the time and we had just had a baby, and she said, I was just talking about yourself and Claire, and I just said I'd give you a fucking text, and I was like, how the fuck did that just happen? Like, the little things. So I have experienced that. That's a mad one, like. So people,
like that Steven Greer lad was on about it there. So he believes as well that we're all connected into this one kind of consciousness. Humans we're kind of more, that we've left that side behind us and we're all kind of more individualized, but things like that are like a sixth sense that we kind of still have, we haven't took full advantage of yet. And that's what they say, like, you know, these fucking the grey aliens, the ones with the big heads, small mouths, like the reason why they have big heads is because, well, as the lore goes, that they communicate telepathically.
Their brains just getting more powerful.
And what he says is that these aliens that he heard of and that he has apparently insider information about is that they all, like, they're just so advanced spiritually and socially that they communicate telepathically, but they all see themselves as one consciousness, and they have been visiting our planet for thousands of years. You'd often hear as well in the lore of it that back around, is it what year was the first atomic bomb? Was it 1947 or something?
1945, I think.
1945, yeah. That a lot of UFO sites came on that site, literally, like.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, and he came up with an interesting thing. So, a lot of people said, they came up because they seen that humans were developing fucking weapons of mass destruction, and they were coming down just to fucking monitor it, right? But he said an interesting thing today, that there is a byproduct of massive bombs like this, like a nuclear bomb or atomic bomb, and it's called a scalar wave. Okay, so energy is in waves, right? And this scalar wave apparently affects transdimensionally. So aliens, we call them, okay? They're transdimensional beings, as he says.
Right.
So they're not travelling like the speed of light, or the fastest you can travel in our physics is the speed of light. You can't travel anything faster than that. They're not travelling that fast in a straight line, basically, because it'll just take too long, and it's very taxing on the body.
Right.
And inertia, when you're going to stop the inertia, you're fucking bang, it's like hitting a concrete wall kind of a thing. So he said that the scalar wave basically affects their transportation. It affects the different dimensions.
Okay.
And then that's how they picked it up. And
so
then
the energy waves from the bomb, they went interdimensional.
Interdimensionally,
right.
and they picked that up on their fucking radar or whatever they did. This is from him.
Yeah.
And that's what they're monitoring. That's what actually drew him to that.
Yeah.
And any other sites like Nakashima, is it? Or Hiroshima? Nakashima and Nagasaki, sorry. And that there's loads of fucking sightings, and a lot of them reports were kept under wraps, and they're all in fucking top secret files and stuff. Of them, like, there's many UAPs that were seen at the scene of them bombs, and apparently that's the reason. Saying as well, so these aliens, like, they're transdimensional, that the way they travel is through like vortexes and stuff. That's the easiest thing that you like. That's all sci-fi, but that's kind of the easiest way that we can grasp that understanding. But then, like, get into psychedelics and stuff. Like, you've never tried DMT?
No, not yet anyway.
Okay, people that have tried DMT have said that they have come in contact, or that they've seen these, like, beings, and it's like, how the fuck does your brain come up with this shit? And when you start to hear about these trans-dimensional beings, and you start thinking about God and stuff like that, maybe God isn't a fucking man above in a cloud with a beard, but maybe he's something else. And maybe there's these we're in this three-dimensional space. Just think of it this way: just what you see isn't just all that's there.
Yeah.
Like, you've ultraviolet light, so light is on a spectrum.
Yeah.
I think ultraviolet is one side of it, and then you have different wavelengths. Our eyes are only a fucking organ at the end of the day.
Yeah.
They're fucking amazing piece of fucking biology, but, like, that doesn't mean that's all we can see. Like, think of a dog or a cat. Like, have you any animals at home?
No.
But you ever see a dog or a cat, like, they'd be looking at something, but like, what the fuck are they looking at?
Yeah.
Like, you'd wonder, have they any access to something? But I definitely believe, and from what I've been looking into psychedelics the last couple of years, like, and you'll be hearing the likes of Terence McKenna, we've looked into him, Joe Rogan's fucking mad about DMT, and but that's what they say, like, that there's different dimensions out there, and that the likes of psilocybin from mushrooms and the DMT, dimethyltryptamine, that's a way of just lifting the veil and just look into these different dimensions.
Do you remember, I don't know, did I send you on this clip there a few months ago? Do you remember someone, Art Bell? He had this show called Coast to Coast, and it was
with George Knapp on it.
Yeah. But he used to do this kind of call-in thing as well, where he let people call in and fucking tell their story or whatever. But one day, some fucking dude calls in. I think I sent you this clip. Well, you know what? I'll play it at the end of the podcast because it's on fucking Spotify.
Right.
But he calls in and he says he doesn't have long to talk. That he works in Area 51.
I know the exact word.
It's Area 51?
Yeah.
Area 52.
Area 51.
Sorry, Area 51.
Yeah.
And he's basically saying, look, they're not aliens from outer space. they're interdimensional beings. He said, I'm not going to be able to tell you much more or whatever because they're going to fucking triangulate my position and they're going to cut us off. But he said they're interdimensional beings. And he sounded fucking freaked out.
Yes. I know the exact one.
But yeah, I'll have to look it up, and if I find it, I'll stick it on the end of the episode.
And he gets cut off, doesn't he?
He's gone 30 seconds.
And he's panicking like fuck.
He sounds
very panicky. It seemed, if it was a prank, it seemed fucking hell. It's give that lad an Oscar.
Yeah.
I sent you a clip there, Tucker Carlson. I'm just going to play it. It's on a page, we give him credit, it's called Weird Times, @weird _ times. It's on Instagram. So they just basically made a cut of Tucker Carlson. So Tucker Carlson's a journalist. He was working with Fox. He's kind of like a fringe journalist. He kind of went against the status quo, and he has his own kind of media kind of network now. But this was his thoughts on UFOs.
Aliens? They've always been here. There are forces that are not human, that do exist in a spiritual realm of some kind, that we cannot see, and that when you think about it, sort of make you think we live in an ant farm. That is real. Yeah. Okay.
The thing that struck me most about the interview is that Carlson is saying, I kind of got what's going on, and I don't want to know anymore.
And I've actually stopped gathering string on, as we say in reporting, stopped gathering string on this, gathering information, because I'm satisfied that I know enough, and I don't really want to know that much more.
Excuse me, you're a bloody journalist. You're supposed to be now an alternative journalist. Of course you want to know. What's the first thing, if you were a proper journalist and you came across this information, what's the first thing you'd do? You'd look at who's been saying this, in my case since the 1990s, and you'd say, hey, you come on my show with its massive audience, tell us what you found. What's your view of what's going on? That's what you do. But it doesn't happen, as it doesn't happen with Rogan either. There has to be a reason for that. One of the things that I've been pointing out over the decades is how, if you look at religions and if you look at ancient cultures and tribal legends and accounts, there is an absolute common theme between them.
Yep.
And that is that a non-human force operating from the hidden is manipulating human society. It's a very compelling, coordinated agreement between what is otherwise a disparate group of different groups and beliefs. Carlson, in this interview, is acknowledging that. It would be nice, actually, if any of them that speak about this in a mild way acknowledge the guy who's been saying this since 1996 and taken untold shit and abuse and ridicule for saying it.
They're not aliens.
So that was David Icke there at the end. But I've heard him being questioned about aliens, Tucker Carlson, before. And there's one clip that he said, like, I know they're not aliens, they're transdimensional beings. It's more spiritual than anything. He was told a lot of information, and in his kind of words, paraphrasing, the kind of stuff that he's found out, he wouldn't tell his wife.
Right.
But it's very interesting there, the way, like, a journalist, like, as David Icke said, that he wouldn't look any further into it.
Yeah. I'd say we wouldn't sleep well if we knew everything that was going on.
I thought I'd bring this up before, but what's his name, that mad fucker there, the American guy, the big lad that talks like this. I'll think of his name. But anyway, he made a death claim there before that we'll call them like the elite fucking shadow government across the world, that they have this agreement with alien beings just to make this planet as fucking depressing and full of fear and negativity as possible.
Feed off it.
And these interdimensional beings, not aliens, interdimensional beings feed off it, and then these shadow government figures would benefit off it spiritually in the afterlife, or through maybe, I don't know, kind of in a way selling their soul kind of a thing. fuck it, I've talked about this lad before, but
Aliens?
I'll have
Do you want to
look up
pause
his
there
name.
for 2 seconds?
Yeah.
Right, sorry about that. What were you
Back
saying?
in. So Alex Jones was the name of the lad.
Yeah.
Funny enough, there I came across on YouTube Russell Brand. We talked about him. Which again had one of these fucking massive fucking YouTube clickbait kind of thing. Russell Brand Alex Jones going to be cancelled. So Alex Jones has this show called Infowars.
Yeah.
And any of the stuff that he talks about is on that.
And I heard they're taking it down.
Yeah.
I probably just saw that thumbnail maybe or something. Are they taking it down?
They're taking it down. So I just have an article here from NBC News. This was today. Alex Jones Infowars shutdown looms as some Sandy Hook families seek to collect company assets immediately. A federal bankruptcy judge, however, said at a hearing that plaintiffs who won a defamation verdict against Jones must wait to secure money they're owed. So Sandy Hook victim families are trying without delay to collect assets from the conspiracy theorist Alex Jones media company as it is poised to be sold off. And Murray, the judge Christopher Lopez of the Southern District of Texas sided with court-appointed trustee Christopher Murray, who is overseeing the liquidation of Jones' estate. Murray had accused certain families in an emergency filing Sunday of attempting a value-destructive money grab, while he has yet to conclude an orderly wind-down and sale of the company Free Speech Systems. Lopez agreed that Murray must continue his work assessing and liquidating Jones' assets and told him he will not turn over a bank account. Murray had asked Lopez in his filing to pause 90 days the ability of families and other creditors to collect from the sale of assets, including liquidation of Free Speech Systems inventory. Just to backtrack there, well, it came to my head, I should have talked about this earlier. Going back to Steven Greer, he said that there was an act introduced in 1951.
I was going to say that as well.
Yeah, it was, I can't remember the name of it, but
it was something like the
invention fucking...
Yeah.
So apparently what they do is that they can just fucking take inventions off inventors and put them on a shelf for the safety of the public.
Yeah.
Apparently, and the EPA can do this.
Yeah. What was it called again?
Oh fuck! I'll have to Google that.
The Official Inventions Security Act or something, wasn't it?
I'll have to look that up. But I just thought that was...
and that was again like if you fucking patent shit.
Yeah. 1951 Invention Secrecy Act.
Yeah.
So the Invention Secrecy Act of 1951 made such patent secrecy permanent through the order to suppress any invention must be renewed each year except during periods of declared war or national emergency. So Steven Greer wants to get rid of that act basically, and he wants to disclose to the public and wants the government, but I'd say the government doesn't even control this shit, this shit.
Yeah.
It's like blacklisted fucking projects. They want to disclose it to the public, which is not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
They've killed so many people.
Yeah, why would they stop now, and why would they promote?
If the stuff ever came out, you're probably going to be finding out that there's like 100 fucking Teslas that they murdered, or 100 fucking...
It's kind of funny that Tesla's put into spotlight. I think there's something suspicious about that.
Yeah.
I can't just put my finger on it.
They make it out like
he's
Tesla
everywhere.
was the brains and Edison was the more cunning.
Yeah, kind of businessman. Yeah. Should have made movies out of this, like.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
There's something about it.
He's featured a lot in films and stuff.
He's in the public a lot. Like, I don't know. Is it just, again? Is it maybe is there some distraction there? As you said, there could have been fucking numerous fucking them kind of IQ guys.
Yeah.
I think one of Einstein's was asked before. He was asked by someone, "What's it like to be a genius?" He says, "I don't know. Ask Nicola Tesla."
Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't know. They push these things though.
Yeah.
like, I don't fucking, you know, like, if it's on YouTube, I don't.
I'm starting to think that way as well.
Salt, like, you know, because they can give you 90% of the truth, or whatever. But I don't think people really understand how fucking censored everything is.
Sure, just say there, like, this is what, our 4th episode.
Yeah.
I set up a Gmail for this.
Yeah.
deeponder@gmail.com, whatever. Deeponder podcast. Set up a YouTube channel. Put up our
After 2 episodes.
Second episode had a clip of
Charles
Manson's music. Now, it didn't give a warning about copyright, but it just said that it wasn't a problem, basically, okay? So then I went to upload episode 3, couldn't log into the YouTube channel, and then it's saying that it was the account was just terminated. Not the YouTube channel, but the Gmail account that was linked with it. So then I appealed it, and then the answer I got back after a couple of days was just one of these automated things. You don't get much description. And basically saying that it was like the Gmail was a bot. Because there was, they thought it was a bot, they took it off.
Yeah. And
it was used a suspicious activity or a bot. Like, what the fuck? Like, was there something there? I don't know.
And like, I've experienced the same shit. I had a small YouTube channel with 150 subscribers. You think you're flying under the radar with 150 subscribers?
Yeah,
and then you delete it. I attempted a TikTok channel and I made 2 short videos, and then the account got deleted.
What kind of things were you touching off of?
Well, the TikTok, like the YouTube stuff. YouTube stuff was, I suppose, I was talking a lot about the COVID shit.
Right.
You know? But I was trying to be careful. I could see what, for example, Russell Brand can get away with saying.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? I can see what other guys are getting away with saying. So I'm as far as I'm trying to stay within the parameters.
That's your limit, like.
Do you know what I mean? And you know, when one of the times that they took down one of my videos, I remember I come across this fucking channel on YouTube. It's basically they take fucking Disney cartoons and make them have sex with each other. They edit them in such and such a way. Like, so like. Like one clip was Maui fucking blowing his load on Moana's face.
Oh wow! Okay.
And why aren't they saying that's copyright material? You can't fucking use that.
Yeah.
So on one of my appeals, I sent because I kind of reported that video when I saw it. But nothing happens. It's still there. Like, if you want to look it up, the channel is called Numberer1, as in number ER1.
Okay.
All one word.
Right.
And he's a fucking, and like. The people in the comments must be all fucking pedophiles, like, because the videos are going to attract children. Children are going to fucking click on these videos. Do you know what I mean?
What the fuck? And that's on YouTube.
That's on YouTube. There's a load of them. Does it give
like a warning, content warning?
No, it's like it's kind of I think they call them YouTube parody or something. Look it up there and you'll see for yourself. Yeah. It's a crazy shit that they'll let up there.
Yeah, and there's that side of it, like, number 1.
Yeah, so you think, like...
Yeah, so it's showing, like, when you scroll on these videos, there's phallus and fertilizer, Phineas and Ferb. Then you've, like, what's that one?
I think if you type in Toy Story after it, and you'll get a load of them with that way. But
there's one here for Moana. I'll just turn it down and see what it is, YouTube head. But right, yeah.
But it's just mental shit. So when guys, like, I often think about Project Bluebeam, and the first time I heard about it was about 13 or 14 years ago, and I was kind of fucking mind blown, this crazy Project Bluebeam. But it's all over fucking YouTube.
Okay, there's a video here I'm looking at, it's from Moana. So it's basically cutting scenes from the movie. What's the name of that big lad? Dwayne Johnson plays him. So it has him here.
See this?
And he is looking at Joanne.
And watch,
he's gonna cut. And it's like he's after fucking jizzing on her face.
Yeah, if you could hear it now, it was all sexualized as well. It was edited in such a way.
And the comment here, if I ever fall into a coma, these would be the kind of dreams I would expect. What the fuck?
Yeah. Do you know, these are sick fucks, like.
I choked on water in this part. This part had me dying. The face swap was priceless.
Fucking damaged people.
Yeah.
So they allow that kind of shit. You know,
How was your man getting away with it,
they'll
though?
allow Project Bluebeam. They'll allow Russell Brand to say all this mad stuff.
Yeah.
Like the Y-Files, the video he did today was about DARPA, and he says in the middle of it he thinks this might be it for me. I might be getting censored, and they might be taking down my channel for the stuff I'm about to say. But
DARPA, apparently they made the internet,
I guarantee you. Yeah.
Yeah. But your man claims, what's the name of that guy? He claims at the time that he did his parodied a lot in The Simpsons and Futurama. What's the name of it? Was he was with the government. What was his name?
Sorry.
I'll just pause it there a second. Al Gore. That's who he was. Yeah. Al Gore, but apparently, I don't know, but apparently he claimed that he was involved in making the internet what it was, but it was DARPA.
Right.
Yeah. Go on, what was he on about in that episode today from my
No, he was just talking about DARPA and some of the technology that they were involved in, and the good side and the bad side. But I'll let you watch it yourself and see what you think. But
did you watch that interview of on Joe Rogan, that actor? He's in Iron Man.
Robert Downey Jr.
No, Jimber. He was the black lad. He was on Joe Rogan, and he's like, he has a chemistry degree.
Oh yeah.
Terrence Howard.
Yeah.
Did you watch that?
No.
I seen a bit of it. So it's after fucking making a wave across the internet. I didn't watch it all because apparently they say you have to watch the video of it. Like, you just can't listen to the audio.
Okay.
Because he uses a lot of imagery and diagrams and shit. So basically he says that all chemicals are like waves, and they're all light waves and stuff, and it's more so to do with magnetism and electricity. That's what makes up everything.
Right.
But like, he's supposedly, what a lot of people have said, like, he's very hard to understand. And Joe Rogan, like, is just quite like, you just know he just doesn't know.
He's not getting it.
He just doesn't know what to say, really.
Yeah. Okay.
Because he doesn't have the knowledge
to
do it. But that guy AJ from the Y-Files, Savage channel, Y-Files actually. But so it goes all into conspiracies again. I think we've mentioned this before. Check it out, it's very good. He debunks it at the end as well. Some of them he doesn't debunk. He debunks a lot of them. But he put up a video there a couple of days ago after the Terrence Howard thing. He was after watching it, just out the back of his garden, and he was saying, I'm just after watching it. People asked for my thoughts. I was going to make a full episode, but I think I'm just going to make a reaction video here. And he was saying, look, from what he understands, he thinks that Terrence is using like sophisticated words and descriptions of things, but they're not correct. Is what he thinks, and he wants him to come on his show, the Y-Files, so they can discuss it. And Rogan, I think Rogan was asking him, would he be interested in debate with someone? But a lot of people are saying that he should debate someone that know what they're talking about as well. But as I said, your man Terrence Howard is obviously a very intelligent lad. But he starts off the podcast saying that he asked Joe Rogan, what's your earliest memory? He says, I don't know. Well, I can remember being born. I remember being inside the womb.
Oh, Jesus.
I didn't realise it was the womb at the time, and I had a little friend inside the womb. I had a little friend, and his friend, he figured out in later on in his life, was his hand. And anytime his hand would appear, he'd be like, oh, hey there, kind of thing, right? And it's like someone was talking to him inside, and someone that would guide him through, like, figuring out what was going on. And then later in life, he figured out through dreams and vivid dreams and all this, that he found out that the person that was talking to him while he was there in the womb was his future self, his future consciousness. And he can remember coming out of his mother, supposedly, and shit. But look, I don't know.
He was a lot of the audience in that story. Like.
Yeah, but he started off like that. I was like, oh, this is going to be brilliant. And then he just started going into like the periodic table.
You were like, fuck, I'm lost.
Yeah. And he started going into the periodic table then and saying that, all about it's not structured right, and there should be more to do with light frequencies and stuff like that. I must get back to listen to it at some stage, but your man AJ said, don't waste your time.
Yeah.
He basically told everyone, don't waste your time. Kind of thing, but he said it's going to be interesting if he does get him on the show to see what he says. But like, I think there was a famous Nicola Tesla quote. If you want to think of the meaning of if you want to understand the universe,
Think in terms of
it's a
frequency and vibration.
frequency, vibrations, and energy.
Yeah.
I think he uses. Yeah. So I was there at Brian Cox. I told you that. He was there in Galway there a couple of weeks ago. Myself and the girlfriend went. I suppose I kind of dragged her along. She's kind of interested in it, like, but so he's a physicist, astrophysicist, and he's working in that place there in Switzerland, I think it is. Joe, they like work on particle accelerators
or something.
CERN, yeah, he works with them. Very well spoken lad. He's an English lad. He's on a lot of mainstream shows. He had some show on in English channels as well. I can't remember what it is. He's with Darragh Breen and some other comedian.
Okay.
Talking about science. But I've heard of him on a couple of different podcasts. So I came across him there, just popped up on Instagram or something. He was doing this Horizons tour. And I just looked it up. And what the whole thing is, it's a massive LED screen. And it sort of shows like CGI imagery and basically carries you an odyssey through the universe. And then he shows you like real imagery of what the telescopes, like the James Webb telescope, and what's that other one?
Lucifer.
Yeah, there's another one, the James Webb, and I can't remember the other one. But basically what they've taken, and it's fucking a solid show. He was doing it for like an hour and 50 minutes or something. Very well spoken. Fucking hell, he'd never stutter or nothing. But he said one thing. No, it was the first half of the show was very kind of like mainstream kind of knowledge. Then he got more into black holes into the second half and got a bit more scientific, and that was kind of hard enough to grasp. But he said one thing and it kind of stuck with me. It's kind of an interesting thought experiment, right? So even if there's no alien life out there or another life out in the universe, the universe, by accident or by purpose, has created something that is beginning to understand itself.
Yeah.
So think of that.
Yeah.
Like that's fucking that's crazy. Like,
Yeah, I hear you.
like they say, like the Big Bang, that it's apparently it's a Big Bang. That Big Bang concept was brought up by some, I think we said this before, some scientist that was working. He's a priest. He was a scientist involved with the Vatican.
Yeah.
So I think he came up with that concept. But now they're thinking like maybe there's numerous different Big Bangs, and it's just like time's only a concept that we come up with. Like time mightn't exist really, and that just things are always constantly happening. That we're in different bubble universes. Things are always expanding, and then Terence Howard actually said as well on that Rogan podcast that us here as Earth, that we're in the Goldilocks zone. You've heard of that before.
Yeah.
So we're not too far or not too close to the sun to develop life. There's a couple other things as well that Brian Cox went into. He went into about the sun. That the sun is at a constant enough state. It's not expanding or it's not contracting. It's at a constant state of chemical reactions that is making it the way it is, that we can continue life on this planet. So there's that. Because there's a lot of other stars that are just constantly expanding and exploding, or there's ones that just turn supernova a lot of the time, and they just don't have enough time for planets to develop life.
Yeah.
Terence Howard said that he believes, from studying different works belonging to different people, physicists and things like that, or other lads like that, that our planet eventually Apparently it's moving away from the sun. So something that's orbiting a massive mass in the space-time continuum.
Yeah.
So the sun, that's why all the planets are surrounding it, or orbiting it, I should say. But we're moving away bit by bit as time moves on. But eventually we're going to move outside that Goldilocks zone. And that's when life is going to sustain this planet.
So was there a theory that Mars used to be in the Goldilocks zone?
Yes, exactly. They've found as well from different rovers that there's this material that's been found. Can't remember the exact name of it. Post Malone's talked about this before as well. This material that's found on Mars, and it can only be found after a nuclear explosion.
Okay.
Not from an asteroid.
Yeah.
From a nuclear explosion.
Right.
So the theory is that Mars potentially was within the Goldilocks zone. There was a civilizations there, and maybe there was a nuclear fallout.
Okay.
And that's kind of making it the terrain that's there, but also that it's outside that Goldilocks zone.
Yeah.
So that's accumulating to making it the way it is.
Yeah.
And they've also found water under the surface there recently enough.
Right.
And then you see that fucking shit of like like they find they say the pictures that NASA have of the pyramids on, but then they're saying, oh no, that's just the angle of the light of the shadow from the sun. Here's actually what it looks like. And then there's like this face that was found on the moon surface.
Yeah.
And then they showed a different angle of that exact thing. They said no, it's not a face, it's just the angle of that it's coming from. But I thought that was an interesting thing that Terence Howard was on about. And
but like, how would anything survive that long? Any artifacts survive? Like, how old are they telling us the Earth is right now? Life has been going on the Earth for how long? 4 billion years or something.
Yeah.
Is that right? So how many billions of years ago?
or something like that. I think it's 13.7 billion years is the universe, supposedly. Reason being is the James Webb telescope. That's the furthest star that you can see, which is 13.7, I think, billion light years away.
Right.
So that's determining
the
age of the universe. Now, if we can see farther,
then it's older.
It's older.
There's a lot of guesswork going on there.
There's a huge amount of fucking guesswork.
Like, if let's say they're right though, let's say if they're right, and they're saying like the Earth is 4 billion years old, is that life has been on Earth for 4 billion?
Well,
how many? But we're talking the last time Mars was in the Goldilocks zone was billions of years ago, though.
Yes.
So how the fuck would they find anything left over billions of years?
But sure, it's like fucking steel, right? So steel rusts away. So steel is iron and carbon, isn't it? Yeah, that's steel. Iron and carbon, I think. So that's steel. The iron will rust. So it might take a couple of 100 years, but it'll eventually rust. You see even sheds around the countryside, like they're rusting, and that's only after maybe a couple of decades.
Yeah.
So multiply that by whatever length. Stone apparently won't.
Yeah, that's going back to the vibration thing as well. That's why they're saying they made all these monuments out of stone.
Okay,
stone vibrates at the right frequency for Earth. That's why it doesn't break down as quickly as shit like steel.
Okay.
So I've heard. So they last for thousands and thousands of years. You got the fucking pyramids thousands of years.
We bring back to the vibrations. Nicola Tesla apparently had this device where he drilled into the ground and he used the energy of the vibrations of the Earth, and apparently it made power, or brought power, and it powered the village apparently.
Oh yeah, I saw this in the movie.
Yeah. But he hacked into the vibrations.
In Colorado.
And that's what they say about the pyramids as well. That supposedly it has, like your man Zoe Hawass, he's the main kind of power over. I don't know, he won't call him director. I don't know his official title, but he is basically over the entire the 3 pyramids there. He's in charge of all excavations. But they say like that he stops a lot of fucking excavations from happening. A lot of people going in trying to find out what's going on, but like supposedly they found a chamber again farther deeper into the pyramid, like, but no one knows how far any of these tunnels are going down, like.
Yeah.
There could be more going on underneath that pyramid, like.
Yeah.
You know, it's just over the surface that we see the fucking the pyramid structure. But like,
tip of the fucking iceberg.
yeah, and people say like that it is hacking, that was a power generator hacking into the hacking into the earth and using the vibration of the earth as a foundation of energy.
Right.
But yeah, it's daft. Yeah, but the Goldilocks zone thing is interesting. Like, sure, then like you wonder. I suppose that's why the likes of Elon Musk and everything wants to get us off this planet, kind of a thing, so fast, because we're fucking destroying this planet. Like, if it keeps going the way it's going, just greedy fucking cunts looking for that petrodollar.
Yeah.
And if they keep on suppressing these other technologies and these inventors that are trying to, like, I presume we're hundreds of years behind where we should be.
Yeah.
Okay, cars, like, I'd say there's surely more cars than humans now on this planet at this stage. And they're not made to last anymore.
Yeah.
Like you'll see some, like, 99 Corollas going around the place.
Yeah.
Like, I know there's a teacher that I, shout out to Miss Geary, I suppose, from primary school.
I'm sure she's listening.
Yeah. She's driving like a 98 red Corolla, and it's still going, like.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I suppose, like, these cars driving now, would they be driving in 10 years' time, 20 years' time?
That's it, like, it's fucking...
You know?
Like, yeah,
that's the communalism kind of...
I knew this guy before.
Commercialism kind of thing.
Some story I came across before. I can't remember who was saying it now. Where they had this grandfather that anyone would come over to the house that he hadn't met before. He'd be like, first things first, you gotta come out here and see my fucking freezer. And he'd bring them out to the shed to show them the fucking 90-year-old freezer that was still fucking working or something, you know. Wow. There was a light bulb in a fire station in San Francisco as well. I think it was on the internet. I don't know if it's still going.
I've seen that one.
Have you seen it? Yeah. This light bulb that's been on for fucking God knows how long.
Yeah.
100 years or something. It hasn't broken.
I was watching some video before. I can't remember from where now. But it was on about the light bulbs situation. So when that was Edison apparently made that. But who knows? He mightn't have invented either. He could have fucking some poor old fucker Jack down the road and fucking Edison gone down. Fuck you, Jack. Take his light bulb. But anyway, we'll give Edison the credit. He invented it, but apparently then when there was other kind of like competing companies, they were making light bulbs that were lasting too long. And they all had to come across this standard. They all had to meet this standard that it didn't surpass a certain length of time.
Yeah.
If it did, go back, redesign it,
make sure obsolescence.
Exactly. But sure, like, if you buy a fucking light bulb that lasts for 20 years, like, how can you make money off of that?
That's it. It's a fucked, man, though.
But like, look at the bright side of it, right? Elon Musk talks about in time when AI comes on. Well, it is not when it comes on. When AI gets to a certain point that humans don't have to work anymore. That's going to be a massive fucking problem, and it's a transition that we're going to make. It's fucking crazy, you know, what AI can do. Like this, Amazon are starting doing it, like robots there in the warehouses. I'd say within the next 10 years, and it's advancing fucking. It's advancing so fast. I'd say a couple of years maybe it'll be on. But Elon Musk has this thing of like a universal social kind of like a pay. It's basically the governments, or maybe these massive corporations, in working with the governments, pay everyone a certain amount of money, a livable and kind of comfortable wage that they can spend, and then it's working out for the companies as well because they're gaining off it as well. But it'll get to this universal pay, and that's the only way it's going to go. And then if it gets to that stage, that then people will have more free time to work on their own things, maybe work on inventing new things, working on pieces of art, other things like that, you know. That could advance us even further. That's an interesting kind of
people. The people who are in charge of the world aren't going to fucking relinquish.
See, that's
control, like.
But what's going to, like, we're on about it there. If the like Steven Greer and the likes of them, like if they get, and Randall Carson and whoever he's working with, if they get these things open source, that's surely the way it's going to go. It has to be on the internet for everyone to see, up on YouTube. there's no way that you can fucking, unless it's a complete dictatorship, fucking North Korea, China kind of system where there's complete ban on that shit.
Yeah, they'll do that.
But then it's up to the people to fucking rebel. And the question is, if governments go that way, like we're here in a small island, but to be honest, I suppose we're kind of America's little bitch, right? And we're the European Union's little bitch as well. We're just going to do what we're told.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a very, very interesting time. If the governments do take side of corporations, which they are more ran by, countries are more ran by corporations now than they are actual governments. If they make that decision to be more hostile, as you said, will the people fucking rebel? That's going to be a massive question. Like, just think of it, this is the way I think of it, like with tolls in the fucking road.
Yeah.
Like, that's ridiculous, man.
Oh, Jesus, John, like, even like I can't even fucking talk about taxes. It's just, it pisses me off so much.
Yeah.
How much they take from us and how much we get back for the taxes they take.
Not even taxes. Just go back to this little thing about the tolls in the fucking road. There's one there over the road in Shannon. Apparently that's paid how many times over.
Yeah.
And the only way that the government are making money off of that is the VAT. What's that, 23% or something? And the private company, whatever they are, whoever they are making money off of that. Like, that's scandalous. Yeah. And it was €2, now it's $2.90. Now it's fucking nearly, it's a $2.90 now.
It's, yeah.
And they're on about increasing it again.
Yeah.
But like, it was like the water meters. People were like, fuck this. And then the government were like, okay, grand. Step back from the water meter is still there.
Yeah.
How many more years in there? It's only a matter of time they're going to try it again.
When that happened, I said, like, they'll try it again 10 years from now, and the fight won't be there.
But that's it. They try little bits and see how far they get. If there's any bit of pushback, they take a step back, try something else, and then see how they go. But it's up to us to fucking stand up to this shit. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah. See, we're getting away from Deep Ponder now, and we're getting more into fucking Irish rebellion.
yes. I suppose we'll finish up on that note, will we? Yeah. Nice one.
Good chat, John.
Cheers, Nat.
Sound.
Good.
On the air, hello.
Hello, Art.
Yes.
Hi. I don't have a whole lot of time.
Well, look, let's begin by finding out whether you're using this line properly or not.
Area 51.
Yeah, that's right. Were you an employee or are you now?
A former employee.
Former employee.
I was let go on a medical discharge about a week ago, and I've kind of been running across the country. Oh man, I don't know where to start. They're gonna they'll triangulate on this position really soon.
So you can't spend a lot of time on the phone. So give us something quick.
Okay. Okay. What we're thinking of as aliens, Art, they're extra-dimensional beings that an earlier precursor of the space program made contact with. They are not what they claim to be. They have infiltrated a lot of aspects of the military establishment, particularly the Area 51. The disasters that are coming, the military. I'm sorry, the government knows about them, and there's a lot of safe areas in this world that they could begin moving the population to now, Art.
But they're not doing anything.
They are not. They want the major population centers wiped out so that the few that are left will be more easily controllable.
Discharge.
I started getting